What tough conversation are you avoiding right now? You know the one. You feel the tension, you sense the frustration, but instead of confronting it, you keep pushing it off. Why? Let's be real. Confrontation, it's uncomfortable for us. But what if avoiding it is costing you more than facing it? This is Leading 10. I'm Chris Moore. Today we're talking about something every leader needs to master: the courage to confront. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. Paul is reminding Timothy, God hasn't given you a spirit of fear. He's given you power. He's given you love. He's given you a sound mind. Why? Because leadership requires courage. And sometimes that courage means stepping into a difficult conversation. Most of us, we hate confrontation. I know I do. I'm a people pleaser. We'd rather keep peace than stir the pot. We tell ourselves, well, maybe it'll just blow over. But here's the truth. What you don't confront will only grow. Bitterness grows, resentment grows, miscommunication grows between you and the other person. And before you know it, the little issue you avoided has become a major problem. So what does this say about us? Well, we often choose comfort over clarity. We will avoid a hard conversation just to keep peace. But in reality, just delaying the conflict and most likely making it worse. What does this say about God? Well, it tells us that God doesn't call us to comfort. He calls us to be courageous, to have courage. He doesn't call us to ignore problems. He calls us to address them with power, but also with love and with wisdom. We can be courageous in our conversations without being cruel. You can be direct with someone without being destructive. It's a skill that we have to learn. Think about it. What's at stake if you keep avoiding that conversation? Is it a relationship, project? Is it your credibility as a manager, as a leader? And what's the potential gain if you face it? A resolution, respect, relief, a problem that's actually solved for everyone, that everyone feels better about. Courage isn't about being loud. It is about being clear. It's saying, I care enough to speak the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. So what's our application here? We should confront with clarity and with care. We should ask ourselves, is my goal in this situation to resolve the issue, or am I just venting my frustration? Am I speaking from a place of fear or from a place of love? Have I prayed for wisdom before approaching this conversation? If we're confronting from anger, you're likely just going to escalate the problem overall. But if you're confronting from love, you're likely to resolve it. Here's how to confront with courage and grace. As always, pray first. Ask God for wisdom, clarity, and the right timing. What was Solomon's gift? Solomon's gift was to actually pray for wisdom. We should start there. We also need to define the problem clearly. We need to know what's the actual issue. We need to be specific, not in general. And we need to choose our tone wisely. How we say something, the words that we choose are so important. We should be calm, not condescending. We should be direct and not defensive. And we should say things in such a way that someone else doesn't have to be defensive. Seek to understand. Ask questions before making accusations. Help me understand what happened here, and be honest about that question, and end with clarity. Clearly state the desired outcome of this conversation. Moving forward, I would like us to blank. Confrontation doesn't have to be a battle. It can be a bridge. It needs to be a bridge from where we are to where we want to go. There are times I used to avoid hard conversations, and probably sometimes I still do. But at the time, I thought I was protecting relationships. But what I was really doing was protecting myself from the conflict. I would let things slide. I would make excuses for myself or the other person. And I hoped people would maybe they'll get the hint. But They didn't. And over time, the tension built up. I lost respect for them, myself. I lost clarity about exactly what was happening, and I lost the chance to lead well. You know, God finally showed me in this that courage isn't about being tough. It's about being truthful. And when I started having some of those hard conversations, things did begin to change. The problems, they did not disappear, but the tension did. The respect did. Clarity did. Everyone knew what was going on and how everyone felt. And, that's when I learned confrontation isn't necessarily the enemy. Avoidance is the enemy. Here's your challenge for today. Identify one conversation you've been avoiding. Pray over it. Ask God for the right words and the right time. Then take the first step. Say what needs to be said. Say it with courage. Say it with clarity. Say it with love. Seek understanding. And again, don't say it in a way that someone has to feel like they need to be defensive. Leadership is definitely not about avoiding conflict, but it is about resolving it. And it's about being the kind of leader who isn't afraid to speak the truth, but speak it in love. Who isn't afraid to clear the air, who isn't afraid to restore what's been broken. You can do it. You can lead with clarity and with courage. This is Leading 10. I'm Chris Moore. It's time to go lead with some courage. Say what needs to be said. Be courageous to face that conversation, but do it with love, do it with respect, do it with kindness, do it with grace. If you like this episode, please subscribe, like the episode so you can keep growing in clarity and in confidence. Share this with someone who's been avoiding conflict. They need to know that courage is the bridge to clarity. I'll see you next time.